Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus on your Friday morning. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check on your forecast. Meteorologist Majestic Storm is in for Chris this morning, and she has some beautiful sunrises, I see.
Oh, it is gorgeous. Official sunrise for our Friday morning, officially at 6:50 this morning. It was a beautiful one. Maybe you're somebody who likes to wake up, step outside early in the morning, maybe go for an early morning walk. It is a nice day to do just that. You'll want to grab some layers, though, because it is a little chilly from Dallas to Charlotte, Lake Norman, even Monroe. We don't even have a single cloud in the sky. Now, if you're up there in Boone, near freezing temperatures, so a chilly start to your Friday morning. It's 40 degrees in Rock Hill and 45 there in Lancaster. Have you liked the weather lately? We topped off at 72 degrees yesterday, and today, well, we're going to top off at 71, so very, very similar. I think we'll have a few clouds sneak in here and there at times, but overall, not a bad looking Friday whatsoever. Lancaster, good morning. Plan for 73 for you and Girard. Up towards Hickory, a high of 67 degrees. There's that bus stop forecast as we are waking up, getting those kiddos off to school today. Jackets, sweatshirts definitely needed this morning, but by the afternoon, I mean, we're talking about sunny skies and low 70s. And then don't forget, tonight is a big night if you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game. Really after sunset, it will feel much cooler once you don't actually feel that sun anymore. So keep those layers handy. Temperatures will slowly start to drop back down into the 60s. Really, the big story over the weekend is just this. We have 3 days in a row of well above average temperatures. 71 degrees today, 75 tomorrow and Sunday. Small rain chances mixed in there. And then Monday and Tuesday are daytime highs. I'm not kidding you, not even reaching 50 degrees. So as you could probably imagine, if our daytime highs are struggling to warm, look at those overnight lows dipping down below freezing. Tuesday morning seems to be the coldest morning. Wednesday morning still very frosty, but Tuesday, well, that's going to be our first freeze of the season. So if you have any sensitive plants, make sure you are prepared for that. We're going to start seeing more cool temperatures like that, of course. Highs today feeling pretty nice, 60s and 70s. Tomorrow, again, not bad, but look at that big drop in those temperatures come Monday with a high of only 47 degrees. Now, if you're in the mountains, good morning to you. I mean, what a beautiful start to your Friday morning, but your temperatures get even colder into the teens for our morning temperatures early next week. And again, Tuesday, I think will be the worst of it because not only do we have that blast of cold Arctic air, but unfortunately, we also have a wind. You add wind on top of those already cold temperatures, and all of a sudden you step outside Tuesday morning, and it's going to feel like we're back down into the single digits from Boone to Jefferson, feeling like we're into the 20s here in Charlotte. So bottom line is just this. Enjoy the next 3 days. We get to hold on to sunshine and 70-degree temperatures because next week, everyone is going to feel that very cold air that's going to settle in. We'll talk more about the opportunities for rain showers and possibly some storms when I see you back here in just a few minutes. But for now, we're going to send things over to Destiny. How are the roads this morning for people's Friday morning commute?
Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on WCNC Plus, and we are following a huge blockage this morning on I-77. This is in the South Charlotte area. A road obstruction has all lanes northbound and southbound closed after exit 6A. So that's the Woodlawn Road exit. So lots of red up and down I-77 this morning from this. Now, there was an earlier crash on Independence Boulevard inbound at Woodland Drive. It has since cleared, but we still have a huge backup that is still residual from that. So just plan ahead for that as that crash is clearing. We do have a stalled vehicle nearby on Briar Creek Road, both ways at Colonnade Drive, but it's not causing any serious issues this morning. And then still following this in Northwest Charlotte, Brookshire Boulevard, both ways at Mount Holly, Huntersville Road. So looking across the Charlotte area, again, most of the red is going to be in South Charlotte from that road obstruction near Woodlawn. And then we also have some backups near Gastonia on I-85 northbound, which is customary this time of the morning. Also following a crash on westbound Sunset Road at I-77 southbound ramp. This is affecting the left turn and left through lane. Here are your AM drive times this morning. We'll have another check of traffic coming up a little later.
We are following breaking news that we've gotten into the newsroom just in the last 15 minutes out of Monroe. Police investigating a double homicide. Investigators say 2 people were found dead at the scene on Nelda Drive. Detectives believe this was an isolated incident and that there's no current danger to the general public. We're still working to gather more details about what led up to the violence. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
We have another breaking update coming in overnight. CMPD says it's arrested and charged this man, Rodriguez Chambers, with the murder of two men in North Charlotte that happened on Sunday. Officers responded to Oakwood Road just before 2:30 Sunday afternoon. They found 23-year-old Caleb Johnson and 32-year-old Prince Tribble shot to death. Chambers arrested yesterday. He has his first appearance this morning at 10.
Now let's get to another breaking update. A homicide investigation currently underway in Plaza Midwood. It happened just before 11 last night at the intersection of Central Avenue and Hawthorne. Medic tells us they responded to a call of a person discovered dead. CMPD has pointed to some sort of altercation that may have led up to it.
The specifics are obviously still under investigation. There was apparent trauma is all I can say right now. That there was obviously some sort of altercation that occurred that led to the victim's unfortunate injuries.
Police asking anybody with information to call Crime Stoppers. Right now, the FAA says the government shutdown is forcing them to cut flights nationwide. And as it does, we're tracking cancellations here at Charlotte Douglas. Since midnight, there have been more than 40 cancellations. And for some context here, we had 0 all day yesterday. And when we take a look at the nation as a whole, 815 cancellations already today compared to just 200 yesterday. And as that shutdown now stretches into day 38, there could be some good news as a federal judge just ordered SNAP benefits to be paid out. NBC's Alice Barr has more on today's impact and when you can expect some relief.
This morning, two major headlines driving home the consequences of the nation's longest government shutdown. Air travelers feeling the effects of a reduction in flights beginning today at 40 busy airports because of staffing shortages.
People are just waiting. It's been awful.
While more than 40 million Americans waiting for SNAP food assistance benefits to feed their families.
It's an avalanche.
Are getting some backup from a federal judge ordering the Trump administration to fully fund the program by today. The White House has been processing partial payments and is appealing the ruling.
In the midst of a shutdown, we can't have a federal court telling the president how he has to triage the situation.
But the judge said the lapse in payments should have been avoided, accusing the administration of ignoring his last order to quickly restart payments and of withholding them for political reasons, citing President Trump's Tuesday post threatening to stop benefits until Democrats agreed to end the shutdown. All as long lines at food banks across the country demonstrate the urgent need.
I work and then I have to get out of work so I can make a line over here to get some food and then take it home and then, we have to do a lot of extra things.
Back at airports, more long lines and growing frustration.
Come to agreement and get this government working.
The cutback in flights starting at 4% today to reduce strain on the system while air traffic controllers working without pay call out to work other jobs. If the shutdown drags on, the FAA planning to reduce flights by 6% Tuesday and 10% next Friday to ensure top safety. We're expecting another vote as soon as today on short-term funding to reopen the government. Though fueled by election wins, Democrats are increasing demands for negotiations on health care costs that they say could yield an agreement within minutes. Republicans arguing they'll talk health care once the government's reopened. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And as the shutdown continues here in Charlotte, Section 8 housing that helps low-income families, seniors, and those with disabilities pay their rent could be on the line. For many, one missed rent payment could mean losing everything. In Livian, Charlotte's housing authority says its funding is secure through December, but if Congress doesn't reach a deal soon, landlord payments and tenant support could be interrupted. One man we spoke to who chose not to give his name says he is concerned amid all the uncertainty.
We on fixed income, like me. I don't get but $940-something a month. Where am I gonna stay for $900? That's gonna take the whole check if I find a place. You see it every day. We got people sleeping over here in the cold. We got people sleeping in our stairways in the cold. Behind this gov, they losing everything. It's sad.
Today, the government shutdown enters day 38. Again, this is the longest shutdown in U.S. history. WCNC Charlotte is partnering with Nourish Up for an emergency food drive. It's happening tomorrow from 10 to 4 at Holy Comforter Episcopal Church. You can bring non-perishable donations. You can also text to give. Text Stuff the Truck to that number on your screen, 50155. Again, Stuff the Truck to 50155 to donate money to Nourish Up.
One person recovering this morning after a stabbing on a Cat's bus. The incident happened just north of Uptown on Tryon at Ashby. CMPD says they got a call about an assault with a deadly weapon. They tell us the victim has non-life-threatening injuries. This is an active investigation, but it's worth pointing out this is just the latest in a series of violent attacks on Charlotte Transit in the last few years.
7-11 now. Tensions continue to rise in Union County, where educators say a $1,000 supplement approved by the Union County Board of Education isn't enough. Dozens of teachers and parents showed up to last night's board meeting demanding fair pay and accountability. You might remember 2 weeks ago, hundreds of educators called out sick, shutting down classrooms across the county. They say the supplement falls short of the $2,000 increase the board initially discussed.
We all love our kids. We're not in it for the money, but I think that we should be compensated for a hard job that we do.
The extra pay will roll out in the coming months. Educators say their fight for fair compensation is far from over.
Coming up after nearly 40 years in Congress, Nancy Pelosi stepping down. We'll tell you more about her historic career and the reactions from leaders across the political spectrum.
Nancy Pelosi.
7:14 right now. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced she is not going to seek re-election for another term in Congress. It would end nearly 4 decades in Washington. In a video, the 85-year-old Congresswoman expressed a tremendous amount of pride when it comes to representing San Francisco over the years. Pelosi was first elected in Congress back in 1987. 20 years later, she made history as the first woman speaker. Both President Trump and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries shared, how shall we say, two very different reactions to the announcement.
She's an able woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
And on Dick Cheney?
I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible.
Nancy D'Alessandro Pelosi will go down in history as the greatest speaker of all time. Her tenure has been iconic, legendary, historic, and transformational. the incredible pieces of legislation that she has moved into law through her brilliance, her wisdom, and her incredible grasp of how to get things done for the American people is too numerous to list right now.
We should say across the political aisle, most offering their congratulations and respect for her. Pelosi's still the only woman to have ever served as House Speaker there.
7:15, and now to a major announcement from President Trump aimed at expanding access to and lowering the costs of popular weight loss drugs. NBC's Liz Krutz has the latest on the deal and how it could potentially benefit millions of Americans.
President Trump announcing a deal with drug makers Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk aimed at lowering the cost of popular weight loss drugs Zepbound and Wegovy.
This is tremendous savings.
And also making this announcement about the federal government's role in making those drugs more accessible for patients who meet certain medical criteria.
Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity.
Later next year, the White House says eligible Medicare recipients won't pay more than $50 a month for the drugs. And for Medicaid recipients whose states opt in, the cost to patients could be zero.
It's a big deal.
For those like Jen Barcone in Los Angeles who pays out of pocket for Eli Lilly's Zepbound, savings could begin in January.
How much are you currently paying for this every month? $600. Is that a stretch for your family? Absolutely. I mean, $600 a month is more than our car payment.
Barcone has lost 35 pounds since she began taking the drug 9 months ago. Her monthly costs could now go down $150.
What it means is that I can stay on this for longer. It'll enable me to continue without having to worry about the cost implications.
Under the new agreement, the cost for these drugs will range between roughly $150 and $450 a month, depending on dosage and whether it's an injectable or new pill. Tom spoke with the CEO of Eli Lilly about how the company's upcoming pill form of a weight loss drug played into today's announcement.
People may notice that your oral weight loss pill is still awaiting FDA approval. Now you've just made a deal with the Trump administration. Should people read into that?
Well, as part of the deal, they've agreed to give us an expedited approval.
Eli Lilly says it's also now getting 3 years of tariff relief from the administration.
If that pill form of a weight loss drug is approved, Eli Lilly says the lowest dose version of the drug will cost $149 a month.
The world's richest man could get even richer. That's right, Elon Musk could become the world's first ever trillionaire. Tesla shareholders approved a massive pay package, potentially worth up to $1 trillion, but Musk has to clear some big hurdles first. The package could give him 423 million more Tesla shares over 10 years. Those shares could be worth $1 trillion if Tesla hits an $8.5 trillion market cap. Plus, Tesla also has to hit certain goals for Musk to get that full payout.
And folks, make sure you stay right here with us. We're going to have a traffic alert happening now on Interstate 77. I believe it's near the Woodlawn exit. We're going to check in with our Destiny Richards coming up to find out more about the traffic impacts there.
Good morning. We have a serious situation this morning on I-77 in South Charlotte. Power lines are down on both sides of the highway. So I-77 northbound and southbound completely at a standstill at Woodlawn Road. So this is going to be a huge issue this morning. If you normally take this way in your morning commute, traffic is simply not moving. So you can't get on I-77 and expect to have a detour around it. A lot of police here, as you can see, fixing these power lines. Now, looking at the full map here, you can see the closure in purple. You're going to want to take possibly Tryon, South Boulevard, whatever you can to try to get around this. Just I-77 is not going to be good for several hours, and we're still tracking any other possible way you can get around to avoid this morning. Looking at a full picture of traffic this morning, this is going to be the big one, but we also have some slowdowns in Gastonia, Gaston County, I-85 northbound, a little bit on I-45 out near Matthews, and then we're still following this one crash, just a bit of a medium impact, Brookshire Boulevard both ways at Mount Holly, Huntersville Road. So this morning, if you're in the Charlotte area, you just want to make sure you plan for getting around that. Do not take I-77 if you want to avoid that big road obstruction, but we'll continue to follow this for you this morning. Here are your travel times coming into Charlotte from other areas.
All right, thanks for the update this morning, Destiny. Let's get a look at the weather forecast now as we're heading into the weekend. Boy, we have actually really nice weather to look forward to again. We have mainly clear skies out there currently, but let's kind of talk about the rain chances that we could see this weekend. Across the southeast, quiet for now, especially across the Carolinas. Very mild conditions if you're heading out the door anytime soon. We're just looking at the type of weather where you want to grab at least a jacket. Small chance for a few stray showers Saturday and Sunday. This is specifically for Charlotte, but here's our big picture perspective, our futurecast. So you can see a couple of cold fronts heading our way. Most of the rain that falls for Charlotte will actually fall while we're sleeping for most of us. So here's Saturday at 2 a.m. Small rain chances even as we fast forward time as we're heading into Sunday morning. There's 3 a.m. So throughout our daylight hours, most days it is going to stay actually really quite nice. But then we're watching the strong cold front that's going to pull in Arctic air. It is going to significantly drop down our temperatures, and with it, it won't have a lot of moisture, but if it has any moisture, we could see a little bit of mountain snowfall early next week and possibly some accumulating snowfall. Here's our futurecast, though, taking us into Friday afternoon. There's 3 o'clock today. If you have any plans, it's going to clear out. It's going to be really nice because really by mid-morning, we could see a few clouds sneak into the area, but the clouds are not going to stick around all throughout the day. Now let's focus on the mountains. Here's about 11 o'clock tonight. Few showers moving into the area. Notice, though, for Charlotte, here's about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, while most of us are asleep, we could get a little bit of rain. By the time you're waking up, though, there's Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning. Again, it's pretty nice. Saturday as a whole looks great with temperatures rising into the 70s again. Saturday night and into Sunday like clockwork. Again, overnight rain, possibly a few storms, and some of those storms, mainly south of Charlotte, could bring a brief heavy downpour. Now let's talk about the temperatures, because whether or not you get the rain, here's the thing that we will all get, that big cool down. 3 days in a row where we get to enjoy those nice 70-degree temperatures. Again, a high of 71 degrees today, mid-70s Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday, I mean, those temperatures not even climbing to 50 degrees. And then look at those overnight lows. Are you ready for this? This is going to feel really cold. 27 degrees on Tuesday, 32 by Wednesday morning. So that is going to make for our first freeze of the season on Tuesday, even for the mountains. Bone chilling cold with those temperatures dipping down into the teens. So be prepared for that. Once you add in a little wind, it's going to feel like we're right into the single digits, but we'll have that full Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast coming up for you in just a couple minutes.
All right, live pictures right now over uptown just as the sun gets ready to come up over the Queen City on a Friday morning. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. It's 7:26 and we are following a huge traffic jam on I-77 in South Charlotte this morning. I-77 in both directions at Woodlawn Road, that's exit 6A, completely blocked because of some down power lines. So you can see crews here on scene this morning. Right now there's not a clear detour because they're just trying to resolve the situation. But as you can see, traffic just not moving at all. Now looking at the map here, you can see where this blockage is and just all of the red up and down. Again, all lanes northbound and southbound completely closed. You won't be able to get past this as of right now. And then we also have some detours. You can take northbound Tryon, especially if you're coming from South Carolina, or northbound South Boulevard. So we're continuing to follow this throughout the morning. Let's send it over to Majestic for weather.
Good Friday morning, everyone. A beautiful but cool start to the day outside. Grab a jacket if you're heading out the door anytime soon. It's 42 degrees in Charlotte, 35 in Boone right now, and really over the next 3 days. No big problems with temperatures climbing back into the 70s, mid-70s for both our Saturday and Sunday. Arctic blast coming our way as we're heading into early next week, which means Tuesday it's going to be our first freeze of the season, with wind chills dropping down into the single digits for some.
Streaming live right now at 7:30 here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
We are following several breaking news stories this morning. First up, out of Monroe, police investigating a double homicide. We've got live pictures right now from the scene, what appears to be an apartment complex. This is on Nelda Drive. This is where investigators say 2 people were found dead. To give you some idea of where we're talking about, it's about a block south of US 74. If you know where the Walmart is, the Lowe's, this is on the other side of the highway, about a block away. Detectives believe this was, they're describing an isolated incident. That means that they don't believe there's a current danger to anyone else in this neighborhood or in the community. We're still working to gather more details about what led up to the violence, but again, a double homicide investigation now underway in just the last hour, happening right there in the middle of Monroe. We'll keep you updated as we learn more from police.
And now to a breaking update into our newsroom overnight. CMPD saying they've arrested and charged this man. I'm going to show you his picture momentarily. This is Rodriguez Chambers. He's charged in the murder of 2 men in North Charlotte that happened on Sunday. Officers responded to Oakwood Road just before 2:30 Sunday afternoon. That's where they found 23-year-old Caleb Johnson and 32-year-old Prince Triple shot to death. Chambers was arrested yesterday. He has his first court appearance this morning at 10 o'clock. Right now, a man is in jail in connection to the death of a 4-year-old boy in Caldwell County. That child died yesterday, just 2 days after Hudson police responded to an assault involving a boy. Officers say Thomas Bryant was babysitting the child at the time of the assault. Bryant is now charged with felony child abuse.
3 former members of the Stanley Fire Department have been indicted following an SBI investigation. Investigators say Eric Withers, Ashley Price, and Michael Hullett are facing charges after an internal audit uncovered a serious breach. Authorities say critical public safety files were deliberately deleted, all in an attempt to undermine the department's new leadership. Deleting those files, investigators say, put public safety at risk. All right, also following some breaking news out on the roads that could seriously impact the commute of thousands of people out there. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, we're following a incident on I-77 at Woodlawn Road this morning. Power lines down at exit 6A. Both northbound and southbound lanes completely at a standstill. As you can see, it's still very much an active scene with crews here. You can see the traffic blocked on both sides. It's not clear how these power lines came down, but this happened just before 7 o'clock this morning, and it's likely that this blockage is going to be an issue for several hours. Now, looking at the map, you can see where the blockage is and a lot of red just up and down I-77. I know this is typically a busy time for folks coming into the Charlotte area from South Carolina, so I have some detour ideas for you if you need to get around this. A little bit of a backup here on northbound Tryon, but this is an option for you. And we also have South Boulevard going northbound is also an option. So you might know a detour yourself just from trying to avoid traffic on I-77 as it is. This is the day to take that detour because this is going to be a huge issue. Looking widely at the map across the Charlotte area, this is really the huge backup this morning. This will be the main story for us on WCNC Plus for a while. And then, of course, I-85 northbound, some backups in Gaston County. No crashes that we're seeing from in that area or near Matthews this morning, but just plan for heavy traffic across the area. Give yourself plenty of time. Here are your travel times into the area this morning. We'll send it over to, we'll go to Majestic this morning for traffic, or excuse me, for weather.
All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. Happy Friday. We are heading into a nice start to the day. We're looking at a lot of sunshine out there. Temperatures, of course, a little bit chilly. We're at 40 degrees in Lincolnton, mid-30s in Boone, and 40 degrees in Rock Hill right now. And yesterday we topped off at 72 degrees. Today, very similar, a high of 71. And here's the best news. We have 3 days in a row with temperatures rising back into the 70s. All across the board, though, a mix of 60s and 70s, 73 in Lancaster and Charlotte today, and about 69 up towards Morganton. There's that bus stop forecast sending those kids off to school this morning. A little chilly at times, but by the time they're coming home later on in the day, again, low 70s with partly sunny skies. If you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game tonight, the game starts at 7 o'clock, and really it's going to be so pleasant early in the evening, but once that sun goes down, you'll feel that chill in the air, so make sure you're just dressed accordingly, and you'll probably want to bring along some layers as well. Going from 75 degrees on Sunday to a high of only 47 on Monday, 49 on Tuesday. I mean, we're struggling to warm, and it's all because of this cold Arctic blast of air that's really going to impact several states across the country. 27 degrees on Tuesday morning. That is going to make for our first real freeze of the year, of the season. And then in the mountains, you can see temperatures getting even cooler, dipping down into the teens and 20s. But of course, there's a catch. The catch is the wind. Once you add the wind on top of those already chilly temperatures, it's going to feel like we're back down into the single digits from Boone to Jefferson. So make sure if you work out in the elements, you are ready for these temperatures. Again, this is what it's going to look like when we're looking at our morning lows. 27 on Tuesday morning, 32, 33 right on Wednesday. So we are preparing for our first freeze of the season. There on average, we typically have our first freeze of the season November 8th. So we will expect to see that actually a couple of days late as we're planning for that on November 11th, which again is going to be on Tuesday. As far as rain chances go, they're not too impressive. Small chances Saturday and Sunday, so we won't be perfectly dry this weekend, but most of the rain that does fall is actually going to fall while most of us are asleep. It starts tonight up in the mountains. Here's about 11 o'clock as we're heading towards those overnight hours Friday and into Saturday. Once it hits the Charlotte metro area, for some of us, us. I mean, by 3 o'clock, I think most of us are still asleep. By 7 o'clock, as we're waking up and heading out the door to maybe do something for your Saturday, it's going to stay really quite nice. There's that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. Plenty of sunshine to look forward to. Not only sunshine and above average temperatures, but so many sporting events going on this weekend. So take your pick. As we're heading into Monday and Tuesday, we are weather impact, not because of any severe weather or any life-threatening weather, but simply because it is going to get really cold quite fast. Ben.
37 right now. Pack your patience before you leave for the airport. It could take longer to get to your destination. Starting today, the Department of Transportation cutting flights at 40 of the nation's busiest airports, including right here at Charlotte Douglas. The reason? Staffing issues caused by the ongoing government shutdown. Amy Kiley has some travel tips if you're planning on flying in the near future.
There's a number of things you should be doing to be aware.
Experts say travelers who plan to fly soon should know their options. The FAA is building up to a 10% flight reduction at 40 airports. Experts advise people departing within 10 days to keep an eye on their airline's app for changes. They say carriers likely will try to preserve their hub-to-hub operations and cut regional flights instead.
It may not be a bad idea to delay travel if it's non-essential, or if you're in a smaller city, perhaps to drive to one of the larger hubs if it's close by, and also consider buying a backup ticket.
Several airlines are letting passengers change their flights for free. The law requires them to issue refunds for cancellations, but they're unlikely to reimburse stranded passengers for meals or hotels.
We have been rebooked on an 8 o'clock flight, but that flight is also delayed now until 11 p.m. and might never take off.
For people planning to buy tickets soon, experts suggest booking with airlines directly. They say that makes it easier to change flights. They recommend avoiding layovers if possible. And the Transportation Secretary suggests racing for Thanksgiving impacts if the government stays closed.
If we have staffing triggers and we don't have enough controllers in an airspace where we did cut 10%, you might see additional delays.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A federal judge now ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits amid the ongoing shutdown. The news comes after a challenge to the White House's previous plan to cover just over half of this month's benefits. We're still waiting for a response from the White House this morning.
As that plays out in court, business owners are stepping up to help families seeking solutions. They're asking anyone in need to reach out for assistance.
WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley explains the steps they're taking to support families falling on hard times.
Caroline Airy has provided more than 100 of these meals to families in the past week and a half. She says the reaction from those relying on this food shows how important these meals are.
I'm going to make white bean and ham soup, and then I'm also going to make sausage gnocchi.
Caroline Airy is making meals out of her kitchen to support as many families as possible impacted by SNAP delays.
And I really believe in loving people through food. So I've made the offer, anyone who needs it, I'll provide 2 free meals a week.
This is inspired by Airy and her family's prepared meal service business called Carryout. The business knew it had to pivot after so many families reached out asking for food.
The needs have really rolled in and the support has rolled in as well. So we've been making meals pretty much nonstop.
The meals are delivered directly to the homes of families in need with no questions asked.
I'll keep doing meals as long as there's a need. One of the big things that I've made sure is I don't need to see proof that you receive benefits. I don't need any of that. If you tell me you need help, there will be a meal on your doorstep sometime within the week.
Airy says the messages she receives from moms proves why the work she's doing matters.
The parents who have said, I'll go without food if my kids can eat. I don't need more than what you're providing. I just want to make sure that they have food.
And these meals are not just for those who rely on SNAP benefits, but anyone in need. To find out how you can get assistance, visit our website at WCNC.com. In Matthew, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
And folks, we here at WCNC Charlotte are partnering with Nourish Up for an emergency food drive that's going to be tomorrow from 10 until 4 at Holy Comforter Episcopal Church. You can bring non-perishable donations. You can also text to give. Just text Stuff the Truck to that number on your screen, 50155. Again, Stuff the Truck to 50155 to donate money to Nourish Up. Coming up, a tragedy in Kentucky. We're going to have the latest new details on that UPS plane crash, the victims, and the search for those still missing.
We're continuing to follow that deadly UPS plane crash in Kentucky, and at this hour, the death toll now stands at 13, with 9 people still missing. And UPS now sharing the names of the 3 pilots who died.
NBC's Tom Costello has the latest on the investigation and those pilots who lost their lives. A warning: the video may be disturbing to watch.
NTSB investigators are examining new dash cam video that captured the fully engulfed MD-11 cargo plane climbing to 475 feet before crashing into several businesses as witnesses ran for their lives. Sean Garber owns Grade A Auto Parts.
All of those folks, plus everyone else that showed up to work Tuesday morning, expected to go home, and they didn't. And that's not how it's supposed to be.
Tonight, the governor says a 13th victim has died, as UPS says it's with great sadness that it shares the names of the 3 pilots who died. Captain Richard Wartenberg, First Officer Lee Truitt, and International Relief Officer Captain Dana Diamond. 9 people are still missing.
There's so much charred, mangled metal that not all of the bodies may have been located until you look underneath certain things.
The National Guard today testing air quality levels at the crash site. Technicians in Washington have downloaded the plane's charred black boxes, revealing 63 hours of data, including 23 previous flights and 2 hours of cockpit conversations.
We will do everything we need to find out what happened.
and to figure out how to keep it from happening again.
A key focus, the left side engine found between runways and the pylon that held it in place. Video captured it coming off the wing, then the fire. Investigators are looking at the 34-year-old UPS plane's 6-week maintenance work in San Antonio. An FAA report shows the inspection found corrosion in the center bilge area below the fuel tank and a center wing upper fuel tank lower crack requiring a repair. Cracks and corrosion are common in heavy plane maintenance.
All right, keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We'll have a check of your Friday morning forecast, plus a big backup you need to know on I-77. That's coming your way right here.
Good morning. We are following at 7:49 this morning a huge obstruction that is causing issues on I-77 in both directions near the Woodlawn Road exit. Right now I wanted to show you this image. This is just before I-77 at Billy Graham Parkway, so exit 6B. There is some kind of detour maneuver trying to take place here. It looks like CMPD is trying to help folks turn around just before that exit and go backwards up the ramp here near I-77 northbound at Billy Graham Parkway. But if you look at the actual scene where these power lines are down, it's completely empty leading up to the site of the obstruction. So this morning they are working on trying to get people not just stuck at a standstill on the highway. So we're still trying to work out exactly what's going on and what you need to know, how these power lines came down, but just be aware that both directions on I-77 northbound and southbound are blocked. This is the blockage right now this morning that we're seeing, just lots of red up and down I-77. So you want to plan for a detour. You can take Tryon Street, you can take South Boulevard, whatever works for you, especially if you're coming up from South Carolina. I know a lot of people are commuting into the Charlotte area this morning, so just a heads up there. Looking at the wider view, this is just the main issue. As you can see, the backup for folks headed northbound is all the way down into Fort Mill this morning, so it's going to be an issue for several hours. Also, I-85 northbound, a little bit of a backup there, as well as on I-40 I-45. Maybe some people are trying to take the loop to get around this as well. So just a heads up there. Some minor accidents that we're following here. Crash on Trade Street both ways from Johnson and Wales Way to Cedar Street in Uptown. And then also following a crash on Steel Creek Road, both directions at Dixie River Road. Here are travel times into the Charlotte area. It's definitely really heavy out there, and I know we don't have a slot for, South Carolina areas, but it's definitely a lot longer than this. I'll send it over to Majestic for weather.
Good morning, everyone. We're heading into the weekend with a gorgeous start to the day. Clear skies, sunshine, temperatures a little chilly still, mainly into the 30s and 40s. We're at 41 in Lincolnton right now, and our forecasted highs will mainly climb back into the 60s and 70s. 71 this afternoon in Rock Hill, much of the same right here in the Queen City, and 73 in Lancaster. Now, if you like today's forecast, you're probably going to love Saturday and Sunday, as we'll see the return of those mid-70s. Very comfortable conditions taking us throughout the weekend. And if you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game tonight, it is going to be a fun time. And yeah, you'll want to keep those layers handy, because really once the sun goes down, it's going to feel rather cool with those temperatures slowly starting to drop back down into the 60s. We do have some big changes on the way as a blast of cold air starts to move in for many states across the country. Arctic air that's going to drop our temperatures well below our average. All of the blue is just indicating that very cold air that settles in, and you'll start to feel it as we're heading into next week. Again, 3 days with temperatures into the 70s, going from 75 degrees for our high on Sunday to a high of only 47 on Monday. Tuesday, a little warmer, but not a whole lot better. And then not only will our highs really feel the effect of that Arctic air, but especially our lows. 27 Tuesday morning, right at freezing by Wednesday. So this is going to be our first real freeze of the season. So if you have any sensitive plants, if you're a gardener, you know how it goes. This is not a good sign here. The good news is, yes, we'll have those 2 harsh days, but then temperatures rebound quite nicely. Our wind chill values. So remember, our wind chills, it is really what it feels like on your skin the moment you step outside. So the combination of our air temperature plus the wind, feeling like we're into the teens. Monday morning, there's about Monday morning at 7 o'clock up towards the mountains, right around those mid-30s in the Queen City. But once we head into Tuesday morning, this is going to be the worst of it, where it's going to feel like we're back down into the single digits for the mountains and into the 20s here in the city. In the mountains, though, those air temperatures really drop really fast into the teens and 20s. And again, Tuesday is going to be our first freeze of the season. On average, we would typically see that on November 8th. So we're going to see that a couple of days late this year on November 11th. There's that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. So bottom line is this: the next 3 days are going to be really quite nice. Only small chances for rain showers here in Charlotte. And as the rain moves in, it'll likely be late at night, early in the morning, so throughout the daytime hours on Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be fantastic. Lots going on around town, and don't forget Monday and Tuesday, we are weather impact, not because of severe weather, but just because of that big drop in those temperatures.
All right, listen to this. What started as one online opinion has sparked a parent meltdown.
That's right. A former high school principal posted saying that she understands pulling kids out of school for emergencies, but not for vacations. And parents lost it. Gail Johnson says she woke up to dozens of fiery messages. Parents arguing that travel is like a field trip and schools shouldn't police family time. Now, Johnson has 35 years working in classrooms, and she says that she is not ruining beach trips. She just wants parents to know that when a student misses a week, teachers struggle to keep the class on track. Her bottom line: public school comes with shared responsibility, even for trips to Disney.
So we did ask you your thoughts during our broadcast this morning over on WCNC. Here's what you all thought about this. Was this much about nothing, or is this ex-principal way off? Take a look at what you all thought, if we have that, because I'm not sure.
Here it comes.
Ooh.
The most common no, but that's pretty close. I mean, 55, 45, I wouldn't say it's overwhelmingly, because again, as the resident mom here, I think most parents generally want their kids to be in school as much as possible when they should be there.
I'm slightly confused. How did we ask this question? Because I'm not sure yes to what and no to what.
So I believe that our question, if we can bring it back up, was, is it okay to take your kid out of school for a vacation during the school
I want to
year?
make sure I understood how we phrased it.
Yep. And so we have yes, 45%, no, saying no, keep them in there all the time.
I'm
55%.
sort of surprised by that. I think I might have thought it might have been the inverse.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a super strong opinion about it. I do think a week is a long time to take your kid out, right? But
I think a few days.
You're creating more work for your kids if you do.
Correct.
All right, folks, we're back after this with breaking traffic news right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. It is 7:56 and we are following a serious incident this morning on I-77 northbound and southbound near the Woodlawn Road exit. At Woodlawn Road, there is a huge incident. Power lines are down there and folks are trying to get around it and they can't. So there's a huge blockage going on. This is actually a shot just before the 6B exit, so the Billy Graham Parkway exit. Police are trying to basically U-turn folks and have them go back up this exit ramp so that they don't actually get close to the Woodlawn Road exit where the power lines are down. So I know it's a big explanation, but all you need to know is that both directions of I-77 in South Charlotte are blocked. So definitely try to find a way around this morning and try to find a detour. If you have a usual one, this is the morning to take it. I'll send it to Majestic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. It is beautiful outside this morning. Sunny skies to kick off the weekend. 48 degrees in Charlotte right now. Good morning to everyone in Boone. About 39. We have multiple days in a row, 3 at that, where we'll see those temperatures rise into the 70s. But let me say it, enjoy it while we have it. A big cool down is on the way early next week with our first freeze of the season on Tuesday.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning out of Monroe. Police investigating a double homicide. You see live pictures right now from the scene. This is on Nelda Drive, where investigators say 2 people were found dead. Looking at a map there, it looks like it's about a block or 2 southwest of US 74 across the side of US 74 where the Walmart and Lowe's is. Detectives believe this was an isolated incident, and they say there is no current danger to the community. Still working to gather more details. At this point, doesn't seem like this is as much of an active scene. Maybe there's an angle of this scene that we can't see right now, but doesn't seem like it's especially active right now. Don't know what led up to the violence, but we'll keep you updated as soon as we hear more from Monroe Police.
We have another breaking update into our newsroom. In just the last few hours, CMPD says they've arrested and charged this man, Rodriguez Chambers, with the murder of 2 men in North Charlotte last Sunday. Officers responded to Oakwood Road just before 2:30 last Sunday afternoon, and they found 23-year-old Caleb Johnson and 32-year-old Prince Triple shot to death. Chambers was arrested yesterday. He has a court appearance in about 2 hours at 10 this morning. All right, let's get over to Destiny now for the latest on that situation on Interstate 77 this morning.
Yeah, we're looking at downed power lines this morning. Definitely a bad situation on I-77 in both directions. I want to give a live look at the scene if I can pull up the camera here. Yeah, there we go. So this is what it looks like down at the Woodlawn Road exit, exit 6A. You can see lots of crews down there trying to resolve this situation. We don't know how the power lines came down. We know Duke Energy is headed to the scene here to help with this, but right now it's causing just huge issues. And it looks like just before the Billy Graham Parkway exit, which is 6B, that they're trying to have folks turn around, do a U-turn there so that they're not right down on the scene of these downed power lines, and just trying to keep this situation clear. But you can see there's still some standstill traffic there as well. So going back to this page, you can see all of the red from this scene. This is where the hazard is, the power lines that are down. And it's been like this now since, or just before 7 a.m., so about an hour, and it's likely going to be blocked for some time. Now, as for detours, just brainstorming a couple for you. You can go northbound on Tryon Street if you're coming up from South Carolina. You can also take South Boulevard. Whatever detour you may usually take, if you don't take I-77, this is the morning to take it. And so across the area, we're just seeing this major just red line going up and down here. Also seeing some slowdowns on I-85 northbound, some areas of I-485, especially if you're trying to, avoid I-77 and just keep going on the loop. But this is the main story of the morning, truly, is that incident. Now, following some other crashes this morning, not as much of an issue here in Uptown. Crash on Trade Street both ways from Johnson and Wales Way to Cedar Street, and then also in the Steel Creek area, Steel Creek Road both ways at Dixie River Road. So the main story of the morning, though, is to just avoid I-77 northbound, southbound, going through South Charlotte. Here are your travel times across the area. I'll send it over to Majestic.
All right, good Friday morning, everyone. Let's take a look at the weather forecast. We're heading into the weekend with sunny skies, mild temperatures. Right now, we're mainly into the 40s. We're at 45 degrees in Monroe, right here in the Queen City, nearing 50, 44 there in Boone. Overall, today, you can plan for a nice mix of sun and clouds. We're seeing that outside right now here in Charlotte. And throughout the next 3 days, plan for 70-degree temperatures. We will have some small chances for a few stray showers here and there. Little breezy on Sunday as a cold front passes, but really we will all feel the impacts of that cold front by early next week, going from 75 degrees on Sunday to a high of really only 40s on Monday. We're at 44 in Boone and Jefferson, 46 in Morganton, Lancaster, you're at 46 if you're heading out the door. There's a look at some of our daytime highs today. Again, very mild, 72 in Wadesboro, 71 here in Charlotte, much of the same out toward Shelby. Now, a few things to keep in mind. Here's our satellite and radar. We are looking fine for now. Few clouds probably sneaking in here and there, but then they'll gradually clear back out as we're heading into the late afternoon and early evening hours. Small rain chances Saturday and Sunday. I'm talking about 20% chance, so there's a lot of you who will not even see a single raindrop this weekend. Multiple cold fronts on the way, though, so that could lead to some isolated storms as well as they pass through the area, mainly south of Charlotte, though. And then as we're heading into early Sunday morning. I mean, here's 3 o'clock in the morning. Small chances for a few showers across the Carolinas, but ultimately, by the time most of us are awake and moving around, both Saturday and Sunday, we'll be clearing on out, and it's going to be a nice looking forecast. There's 6 o'clock tonight. If you have any Friday night plans, should be pretty comfortable. Rain showers possible in the mountains tonight, overnight early in Charlotte, but again, by the time you're heading out the door for your Saturday, it's going to be enjoyable. 70s over the next 3 days, and then 40s Monday and Tuesday for our highs, and then our overnight lows are going to get real chilly Tuesday and Wednesday, with Tuesday being the coldest day at that. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll be back here. We're going to go through more of those cold temperatures on the way, plus that full 7-day forecast. Guys?
All right, Majestic, thanks. Time now, 8:06, and the FAA says the government shutdown is now forcing them to cut flights nationwide. And as it does, we are tracking cancellations at Charlotte Douglas. Since midnight, there have been 41 cancellations. Now, for some reference here, we had 0 all day yesterday. And then when we take a look at the nation as a whole, like there, 815 cancellations so far today compared to just 200 all day yesterday. And as the shutdown now stretches into day 38, there could be some good news, as a federal judge just ordered SNAP benefits to be paid out. NBC's Alice Barr has more on today's impacts and when you might see some relief.
This morning, 2 major headlines driving home the consequences of the nation's longest government shutdown. Air travelers feeling the effects of a reduction in flights beginning today at 40 busy airports because of staffing shortages.
People are just waiting. It's been awful.
While more than 40 million Americans waiting for SNAP food assistance benefits to feed their families.
It's an avalanche.
Are getting some backup from a federal judge ordering the Trump administration to fully fund the program by today. The White House has been processing partial payments and is appealing the ruling.
In the midst of a shutdown, we can't have a federal court telling the president how he has to triage the situation.
But the judge said the lapse in payments should have been avoided, accusing the administration of ignoring his last order to quickly restart payments and of withholding them for political reasons, citing President Trump's Tuesday post threatening to stop benefits until Democrats agreed to end the shutdown. All as long lines at food banks across the country demonstrate the urgent need.
I work and then I have to get out of work so I can make a line over here to get some food and then take it home, and then, we have to do a lot of extra things.
Back at airports, more long lines and growing frustration.
Come to agreement and get this government working.
The cutback in flights starting at 4% today to reduce strain on the system, while air traffic controllers working without pay call out to work other jobs. If the shutdown drags on, the FAA planning to reduce flights by 6% Tuesday and 10% next Friday to ensure top safety. We're expecting another vote as soon as today on short-term funding to reopen the government. Though fueled by election wins, Democrats are increasing demands for negotiations on health care costs that they say could yield an agreement within minutes. Republicans arguing they'll talk health care once the government's reopened. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And as the shutdown continues here in Charlotte, Section 8 housing that helps low-income families, seniors, and those with disabilities pay their rent could be on the line. For many, one missed rent payment could mean losing everything. In Livian, Charlotte's Housing Authority says its funding is secure through December. But if Congress doesn't reach a deal soon, landlord payments and tenant support could be interrupted. One man we spoke to who didn't want to give his name says he is concerned amid all the uncertainty.
We on fixed income, like me. I don't get but $940-something a month. Where am I gonna stay for $900? That's gonna take the whole check if I find a place. You see it every day. We got people sleeping over here in the cold. We got people sleeping in our stairways in the cold. Behind this government, they losing everything. It's sad.
Today, the government shutdown enters day 38. Again, this is the longest shutdown in U.S. history. As we head to break, here is an exclusive deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests products every day. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best. This is the Zoom broom. It's kind of half broom, half leaf blower. Brand new leaf blower technology. Look how lightweight this is. Only 2 pounds. And when you compare it, this is the leaf blower I have normally. Look how big this thing is, and it's much heavier and bulkier. It has batteries like that. This one, you just charge with a USB-C, done, and it's cordless. Look at the commercial on this. It's actually really satisfying, looks really easy, blowing everything away. We want to see if it actually works, so here we go. I'm gonna blow away some leaves here. Look, wow, it works just like the commercial, just like that. Blow the leaves wherever you want them. I have some dirt over here as well, blowing the dirt. Now, by the way, this is really cool on this. Come on in for a second. You can also turn it to high turbo mode, like that. If you have some really stubborn stuff, look at that. Look at it getting right off the driveway. This is really cool. Very satisfying. Got some mulch, I have some wood chips over here. And of course, the traditional old grass clippings like this as well. The great thing about the Zoom broom I was reading, this goes for 30 minutes straight without another charge. And if you're doing this for more than 30 minutes, you're probably doing it wrong. We have a deal on this for you today. You know, I always try to save you money. It's normally $219. Today for you, only $149, 32% off. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
.13 right now on WCNC Plus. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced she will not be seeking re-election for another term in Congress. It would end her nearly 4 decades in Washington. In a video, the 85-year-old Congresswoman expressed gratitude and pride for her years representing the town of San Francisco. She was first elected to Congress back in 1987. 20 years later, became the first woman to serve as House Speaker. Both President Trump and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries had 2 very different reactions to her announcement.
She's an able woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country. I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible.
Nancy D'Alessandro Pelosi will go down in history as the greatest speaker of all time. Her tenure has been iconic, legendary, historic, and transformational. The incredible pieces of legislation that she has moved into law through her brilliance, her wisdom, and her incredible grasp of how to get things done for the American people is too numerous to list right now.
Even many of her political opponents have pointed out her remarkable effectiveness as Speaker, as getting her caucus in order and getting them to vote in a direction that she wanted. Well, in California, a 12-year-old being called a hero after jumping into action after a boat capsized over the weekend, and he knew exactly what to do because of his junior lifeguard background.
As Tally Latoy explains, he says he can't take all the credit for the rescue effort.
I've been a junior guard for 4 years, and they taught me a lot of the stuff, a lot of the skills that I needed for that situation.
That's Nathan Usher, a 12-year-old junior lifeguard who put his skills to the test. This was the scene Sunday. A boat capsized at the end of the jetty at Oceanside Harbor. 5 were on board, 3 of them directly helped by this junior lifeguard who was out on a fishing day with his family.
And then one of them said, "How often do you guys do this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "How often do you guys rescue people?" I was like, "We don't rescue people, we're a fishing boat."
Usher was fueled by his passion to help, plus the training from the city's summer program for young lifeguards in the making.
Did you ever think that you would be using those skills this early on?
No, I didn't.
But he's not taking all the credit.
It makes me feel pretty good, but it also makes me feel that like a lot of people think that I did most of the work, but it was really a lot of people, like everybody else, that came together to help.
We happened to come across the capsized boat, and we jumped into action.
Taylor Hamilton and Cody Harris have lived in the area for years and tell me it was second nature for them to step in.
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, when I saw them in the water, I just thought about my mom or my grandma and just wanted to get them out as quick as I could.
And it's what anyone in this community would do.
I think that when someone's in need, you always see this community come together. It's something that I'm proud of, and it's one of the reasons why I'll be here forever.
In Oceanside, Tally Latoy, ABC 10 News.
And folks, we are standing by hoping to hear from police in Monroe. We've been telling you about that breaking news just into our newsroom within the hour, the double homicide there. We're hoping to get some information from police. Of course, when that happens, we'll bring it to you live right here on WCNC Plus.
Back here.
Breaking right now, getting an update from Monroe Police about a double homicide this morning.
This apartment. And when the officers got here, they found 2 individuals inside that were dead.
And so that was last night. You all arrived on scene around what time, and then what?
It was around midnight that our officers arrived and found those 2 individuals inside.
Okay. And so what happens now? I saw you there. We thought maybe there'd be more people here, so the investigation starts. What's going on?
Right, so the investigation, the detectives have been out all night long working on this, trying to piece some things together. They don't believe there's any active threat to the community or to this neighborhood at this time, and I'm really hopeful that by the end of the day we'll have a lot more information to give you, but it's just rapidly coming together and they're working on that.
Yeah. I know you said it was a welfare check that came in from the Charlotte area. Do we think that this was a situation where somebody harmed somebody else and then harmed themselves?
No,
Okay.
I do not believe that this is a situation of a murder-suicide. That is not the case here.
Okay. And so you say there's no direct threat to this community. So it was a targeted incident?
It is definitely an isolated incident. Do not know the relationship to the offender and the victims exactly at this point, but I think we'll have that through the day as it progresses.
Do you have any information on those victims?
I think that the detectives are still working on making a notification to the next of kin right now, so I don't have that.
This is a small community, and it's not like Charlotte, so this is kind of rare for a place like this, a town like this.
Sure, yeah, our violent crime is not high. This is something definitely unusual for this community.
And what do you say to neighbors that are walking around and some of them just finding out from us, kind of asking questions? Some of them are seeing police now in the front of their houses.
I understand that this is alarming to anybody, especially if you live here and you wake up to this. But again, I will, stress that it is an isolated incident and that we feel confident there's no threat to anybody else right now, and that we hope to give them a lot more clarity by the end of the day.
With holidays right around the corner, this is kind of hard to deal with. Also for the officers who've got to deal with it. How are you guys handling dealing with stuff like this with holidays right around the corner?
Holidays can be tough. A lot of times we see extreme crimes around the holidays, and that's hard for officers, it's hard for families, it's hard for anybody that's involved. So it's just a matter of making sure that we keep our mental health in check and that we keep an eye on each other.
Yeah. I know you said double homicide. Do you think these were gunshots? Do you think this might have been a stabbing? Do you know exactly how this might have happened?
I can't release that right now.
Okay. Anything else that I may have missed? Anything else that you all want to?
Let's see. I can tell you we are working closely with CMPD and with the SBI on this one, so it's going to be multi-jurisdictional. That's something that we're collaborating with those to get this wrapped up, hopefully.
You may have mentioned it, I may have missed it. Are general age ranges, male, female, of the victims? Are you releasing that?
The victims are males. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll help you with these.
All right.
Yes, please.
We have been listening to the public information officer there in Monroe speaking about the breaking news this morning, a double homicide in Monroe. We learned that the victims were two men. She says it does not appear that this was a murder-suicide situation, but of course the investigation continues. They don't believe that there is any threat to the public, to the people in that area. But again, the investigation continuing in Monroe after a double homicide this morning.
To sort of help explain what she was talking about that in that sort of press conference is that typically if something is a murder-suicide, they'll say there's not a threat to the public because there's nobody else involved. When you have a situation that it's not a murder-suicide and there's still no threat to the public, leaves a lot of questions for our reporters and other people who follow things like this, because it's like, okay, well, if it's not one and it's not the other, what exactly does that mean? What exactly happened? And we're going to be getting those answers throughout the day for you right here on WCNC Plus, so keep it here. Now to other breaking news we're following right now. A big old mess on I-77 for your Friday morning commute.
Yeah, definitely. On I-77 northbound and southbound near the Woodlawn Road exit, that's exit 6A, power lines have been down for almost 2 hours now. There's been some improvements though. Crews got the power lines out of the road, but the crews are still down on scene there. But traffic has been just kind of detoured. There was a detour maneuver going on to keep cars clear from the scene. Some cars that were close to the power lines, they were able to get around it once they finally pulled them out of the road. But just going on either side here, you can see this is near the Tyvola and Arrowwood exits on the northbound side, and then going on to the other side of this crash, or excuse me, not this crash, this incident with the power lines, you can see the southbound side is blocked as well. So it's definitely a situation where you're going to want to avoid I-77. I'll send it to Majestic now.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's take a quick check at that 7-day forecast. A few things that we'll most definitely want to point out. We have lots of beautiful weather to look forward to. Generally a mix of sun and clouds today. A few clouds starting to push through right now, but I think we'll see a nice gradual clearing this afternoon. 75 Saturday and Sunday. Small chances for a few stray showers here and there. And then Monday and into Tuesday, we are weather impact, not because of any storms or any severe weather, nothing like that, but just because it is going to be shockingly cold at times, especially Tuesday morning with temperatures dipping down into the mid to upper 20s. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you right back here in just a couple minutes.
Good morning. It's 8:26 and we have been following downed power lines affecting traffic on I-77 northbound and southbound in South Charlotte. This is near the Woodlawn Road exit, and some good news, power lines have been removed from the road. Crews are clearing the scene, but you'll still deal with those residual backups. This is northbound traffic approaching where that scene was. There was some detours going on, people having to exit early, some people having to U-turn to get away from the scene. So it's starting to clear. That's good news, but you'll deal with significant delays just from how long this has been an active scene this morning. So this is the main story. You'll still probably try to want to get around this morning, since it'll be a while before traffic resumes back to normal. But for now, we're just dealing with that and no other major accidents this morning. So I'll go ahead and send it over to Majestic and leave you with your AM drive times.
All right, good Friday morning, everyone. Hope you're off to a good start to your day. We do have generally some sunshine mixed in with some cloud coverage. Kind of just depends on where you're waking up this morning. It's 51 degrees right now in Charlotte, 47 in Boone, and over the next few days, it's going to be very, very enjoyable. We'll look for the return of 70s today, with some big changes arriving by early next week.
It's streaming live right now here on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
We continue to follow breaking news in Monroe this morning. Police investigating a double homicide. Investigators say 2 people were found dead at the scene there on Nelda Drive. That's about a block west of US 74. In just the last 10 minutes, we heard from investigators. 2 men discovered around midnight last night by investigators. They continue to say they don't believe there is any threat to the public at this point. At the same time, they do not believe this is a murder-suicide. They describe the area where this happened as being a relatively quiet area. Police think they'll have a clearer picture today about what exactly happened, the dynamics of this double homicide. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get it.
Another breaking update into our newsroom overnight. CPD says they've arrested and charged this man, Rodriguez Chambers, with the murder of 2 men in North Charlotte last Sunday. You may remember we reported officers responded to Oakwood Road just before 2:30 last Sunday afternoon and found 23-year-old Caleb Johnson and 32-year-old Prince Tribble shot to death. Chambers was arrested yesterday. He has a court appearance this morning at 10. Right now, a man is in jail in connection to the death of a 4-year-old boy in Caldwell County. That child died yesterday, just 2 days after Hudson police responded to an assault involving a boy. Officers say Thomas Bryant was babysitting the child at the time of the assault. Bryant is now charged with felony child abuse.
3 former members of the Stanley Fire Department have been indicted following an SBI investigation. Investigators say Eric Withers, Ashley Price, and Michael Hullett facing charges after an internal audit uncovered a serious breach. Authorities say critical public safety files were deliberately deleted, all in an attempt to undermine the department's new leadership. Deleting those files, investigators say, put the public at risk.
This morning, we are following a power lines down situation on I-77 northbound and southbound. It's been blocked for about 2 hours now, almost 2 hours, and there's been some progress. So this is down at Woodlawn Road, exit 6A, but I'm showing you Tyvola Road because this is where a lot of people have been exiting. You can see some cones down there. Again, this is the northbound side. Southbound is starting to move, so that's good. But it's definitely been a sticky situation, not only as crews try to remove the power lines from the street, but also get traffic moving normally again. There was one area where traffic was being detoured to get away from the scene. So it's definitely a sticky situation all up and down I-77 this morning. Again, we're still going to, call it closed, and it's showing up that way on the map. But right now they are in the process of clearing and getting things back to normal. So right now, though, you still want to plan for a detour if you can. It's going to be like this for most of the morning, and I-485 is starting to have some residual effects too as folks try to avoid getting onto I-77. Here, your AM drive time still a bit heavy coming from Matthews and Belmont this morning. Again, we'll keep you updated on the clearing of those power lines and getting traffic back to normal on I-77. But I'll go ahead and send it to Majestic for a check on weather.
All right, thanks, Destiny. Let's get a check on our forecasts. We're heading into our weekend, and really things are quiet out there this morning. We have seen more clouds roll through some of our areas. So let's put this into motion. You can see in Lake Norman, it is beautiful there in Dallas. A lot of clouds moving through now. Picture perfect there in Monroe, and a few clouds filtering in here, right here in the Queen City. Now, by the afternoon, I think generally partly sunny skies. Temperatures still rising into the 70s for our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do have some small chances for a few spotty showers and possibly even an isolated thunderstorm. But then next week, I'm talking about Monday and Tuesday, we have an Arctic cold front moving through the area, and that'll drop our temperatures down so much that it's going to feel a little like winter time at times. Monday, Tuesday, and into early Wednesday morning. 71 degrees will be your daytime high today in Lincolnton, 73 in Lancaster, 74 out towards Shaw. If you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game tonight, it should be a lot of fun. Still partly sunny skies right around 5 o'clock, but the game starts at 7 o'clock, so after sunset. So make sure you have those layers ready to go as it is going to get a little chilly. Air temperatures into the low 60s, but of course, once we don't actually feel that sun on our skin anymore, it's going to feel rather cool. There's that satellite and radar. We do have a few clouds moving into some parts of our viewing area. And again, still seeing that sunshine as we head into the afternoon. But as far as the rain chances go, no rain chances today in Charlotte. But Saturday and Sunday, we do have small chances and then 0 as we're heading into next week. So here's our futurecast, kind of just showing you our weather pattern in general. We're going to have multiple cold fronts moving through the area. And while we do still have some small chances for some rain showers, a lot of the rain that is forecasted to fall will fall late at night, early in the morning. So really throughout the daytime hours while people are up and doing things outside, it should be actually quite enjoyable both Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. There's our futurecast. If you have any Friday night plans, here's 5 o'clock. Should be really nice just before sunset. And then up in the mountains, this is overnight tonight and into early Saturday morning. Could see some stray showers. Around 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, still while a lot of us are asleep, could have a little bit of rain, so we could wake up to some wet area roadways even around the Charlotte area. But here's 7 o'clock on Saturday, so as you're heading out the door and actually doing things, that system's already going to be long gone. The biggest thing this weekend that you need to be ready for will be above average temperatures and then a big drop in those temperatures. 47 will be our high on Monday, 49 on Tuesday, and then those overnight lows getting very cold, which means we'll have our first freeze of the season even here in Charlotte as temperatures drop below freezing. Now, if it's cold in the city, you know it's going to be cold in the mountains as well. We'll see the air temperatures slip down into the low 20s Monday morning, Tuesday again being the worst with our air temperatures into the teens. But remember, when we're dealing with such cold weather, cold air, yeah, just a little wind on top of it, and it feels even colder than it actually is. Into the single digits, heading out the door Monday night, Tuesday morning, feeling like you're into the single digits up in the mountains. And even for us in Charlotte, it's going to feel like we're
caused by the ongoing government shutdown. Reporter Amy Kiley has some travel tips if you're planning on flying in the near future.
There's a number of things you should be doing to be aware.
Experts say travelers who plan to fly soon should know their options. The FAA is building up to a 10% flight reduction at 40 airports. Experts advise people departing within 10 days to keep an eye on their airline's app for changes. They say carriers likely will try to preserve their hub-to-hub operations and cut regional flights instead.
It may not be a bad idea to delay travel if it's non-essential, or if you're in a smaller city, perhaps to drive to one of the larger hubs if it's close by, and also consider buying a backup ticket.
Several airlines are letting passengers change their flights for free. The law requires them to issue refunds for cancellations, but they're unlikely to reimburse stranded passengers for meals or hotels.
We have been rebooked on an 8 o'clock flight, but that flight is also delayed now until 11 p.m. and might never take off.
For people planning to buy tickets soon, experts suggest booking with airlines directly. They say that makes it easier to change flights. They recommend avoiding layovers if possible. And the Transportation Secretary suggests bracing for Thanksgiving impacts if the government stays closed.
If we have staffing triggers and we don't have enough controllers in an airspace where we did cut 10%, you might see additional delays.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A federal judge now ordering the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits amid the ongoing shutdown.
The news comes after a challenge to the White House's previous plan to cover just over half of this month's benefits. We are still waiting for a response from the White House this morning. Now, as that plays out in court, business owners are stepping up to help families seeking solutions. They're asking anyone in need to reach out for assistance.
WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley explains the steps they're taking to support families falling on hard times.
Caroline Airy has provided more than 100 of these meals to families in the past week and a half. She says the reaction from those relying on this food shows how important these meals are.
I'm gonna make white bean and ham soup, and then I'm also gonna make sausage gnocchi.
Caroline Airy is making meals out of her kitchen to support as many families as possible impacted by SNAP delays.
And I really believe in loving people through food. So I've made the offer, anyone who needs it, I'll provide 2 free meals a week.
This is inspired by Airy and her family's prepared meal service business called Carryout. The business knew it had to pivot after so many families reached out asking for food.
The needs have really rolled in and the support has rolled in as well. So we've been making meals pretty much nonstop.
The meals are delivered directly to the homes of families in need with no questions asked.
I'll keep doing meals as long as there's a need. One of the big things that I've made sure is I don't need to see proof that you receive benefits. I don't need any of that. If you tell me you need help, there will be a meal on your doorstep sometime within the week.
Airy says the messages she receives from moms proves why the work she's doing matters.
The parents who have said, I'll go without food if my kids can eat. I don't need more than what you're providing. I just want to make sure that they have food.
And these meals are not just for those who rely on SNAP benefits, but anyone in need. To find out how you can get assistance, visit our website at WCNC.com. In Matthew, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
WCNC Charlotte is partnering with Nourish Up for an emergency food drive. It's tomorrow from 10 until 4 at Holy Comforter Episcopal Church. You can bring non-perishable donations. You can also text to give. Text Stuff the Truck to that number on your screen, 50155. Again, Stuff the Truck to 50155 to donate money to Nourish Up. The time is now 8:44. A miniature horse in California is starting a new career in community service. After being severely neglected, she was rescued. Reporter Zoe Hunt shows us how this tiny horse is now taking on a big community role.
The Monterey County Sheriff's Office has a new honorary community ambassador, miniature horse Cookie.
Congratulations.
Cookie came from a life of severe neglect, living at a kill pen. But just when she was about to be sent for slaughter, Deputy Rebecca Gordano stepped in to rescue her.
When I first got her, she came to my house. She looked almost like she had mange. She was missing fur in multiple spots. She was thin, you could see her ribs, very bony, and very withdrawn. She never really trotted around the yard.
After a year and a half, Cookie's loving personality started to shine through as she bonded with Deputy Gordano's other animals, like her rescued blind donkey.
If they are separated, if they go to different sides of the yard, they both let out a neigh or a hee-haw.
Deputy Gordano is known for her animal rescue efforts. With more than 30 animals living on her family's farm, she is always stepping in to help.
So Deputy Gordano, Cookie's owner, could you please help Cookie raise her hoof? Or we'll accept an enthusiastic ear flick. Or she can even just stand there and look pretty.
And now, with a flick of her ears, Cookie has accepted her oath as a community ambassador, where she will join the sheriff's office at local events in hopes she can build the public's trust in law enforcement.
She may be afraid to approach a deputy because, you know, our job, we look intimidating at times. But a miniature horse, I mean, you saw Cookie, you see the love in her eyes. Who doesn't want to come up and just pet Cookie? And they won't move for you either.
So we don't have stories about miniature horses every day. Very glad that Cookie was rescued.
Yeah, it's a cute horse.
Very
Any cute small animal
And I think
has my heart.
when you say miniature, that just adds some more to it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I think we're taking a break right now, but we'll be right back with more right here on WCNC Plus.
This morning, we have great news. We have a traffic impact alert that is now no longer a problem. So I-77 northbound and southbound now open near Woodlawn Road. That is exit 6A. This was kind of around 6A and 6B. So Billy Graham Parkway and exit 6A at Woodlawn Road. Traffic is now moving again. Those power lines were actually AT&T power lines. Duke Energy was on scene to help clean it up. But as you can see, traffic moving back to normal. You might still deal with some delays in the area. There's also a crash that is still on the map. Center lane blocked at I-77 southbound near Clanton Road. But for the most part, everything is moving back to normal again. Again, just residual delays, possibly from folks trying to get around it earlier as well, especially on I-85 on the loop here out near approaching Pineville. It looks like the inner loop and the outer loop on the west side of town is still very backed up this morning. So just a heads up there. Here are your AM drive times. It is getting a little bit better, but still heavy as you're coming into the Charlotte area. Again, give yourself plenty of time, even though that big incident has been cleared. I'll send it over to Majestic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. Let's start with a live camera look because some of us, we are waking up to perfectly clear skies while others, you're starting to see more clouds filter into the area. In Charlotte, Lake Norman, we kind of have a mix of two with mainly cloudy skies out there in Dallas. However, gorgeous there in Monroe. Daytime highs today very similar to yesterday, planned for mainly low 70s. 71 in Charlotte this afternoon, 73 in Lancaster, and low 60s up towards Boone. If you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game today, it's going to be pleasant, but once the sun sets, it's going to feel a little chilly, so keep those layers handy. You'll probably want to bring a jacket for sure. As we're heading into our weekend, though, a few things to know. No problems really in the forecast today. Yeah, we'll have a few clouds here and there, but 70s for our highs today all the way through Sunday. Rain chances start to move in Saturday and Sunday. However, they're very low for Charlotte, and then they drop off to absolutely zero next week. Here's our futurecast. So we have multiple fronts pushing through the area. Each front will bring a little moisture with them, but not a whole lot. I think the mountains have a better opportunity to actually get that rain compared to Charlotte itself. And then this strong Arctic cold front will bring some impacts Sunday and into Monday. That could even bring a little bit of mountain snowfall for the higher elevations. But whether or not we get that mountain snowfall, we will surely all feel those chilly temperatures. Heading into the afternoon, though, if you have any plans for your Friday, there's about 5 o'clock. Should clear out. So if you're in a spot where there's a lot of clouds currently, I think we'll have gradually clearing skies. And then in the mountains, we'll watch for overnight rain showers. Could hit right around Charlotte early Saturday morning. But by the time you're waking up here 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll be done with the rain. And then Saturday as a whole actually looks pretty nice. Here comes that Arctic blast of cold air with temperatures dropping down into the mid to upper 40s for our highs and our lows dropping down below freezing. Tuesday, that's going to be our first real freeze of the season and very cold in the mountains with an air temperature of 16 degrees come Tuesday morning in Watauga County. However, once you add in the wind, then it drops it down, feeling like you're in the single digits up in the mountains and feeling like we're into the low 20s here in Charlotte. There's that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. Lots of sunshine to look forward to. So Lisa, soak it up because next week it's going to be a little rough.
I'm looking at Saturday and Sunday and then seeing Monday and Tuesday. My goodness, enjoy the weekend, folks. All right, the holiday season is officially underway in Charlotte, and Santa setting up shop at South Park Mall. Starting today, families can snap pictures and share their wish lists through Christmas Eve. Now, the hours vary each day and reservations are recommended. You can find the full schedule online. New York City's famed Rockefeller Center will soon get its Christmas tree for the holiday season. This is the Norway spruce, leaving its home of East Greenbush, New York. The 75-year-old, 70-foot-tall tree is a donation from the Rust family. It's scheduled to arrive at Rockefeller Center on Saturday. When it's put into place, the tree will be draped with more than 50,000 multicolored lights and topped with a Swarovski star. The Rust family says it's an honor to share their tree with the world.
Christmas is really special to us and our family. It's our favorite time of the year. I took my son down to the tree last year with some family and friends, so now we get to do that on a much grander scale this year. It's just special that the house was in my husband's family since the 1920s. So just knowing that this has been our backdrop, that we've had birthday parties here, weddings here, all kinds of celebrations. So it's just nice that our family tree gets to become the world's Christmas tree.
Very cool. The lighting ceremony will be part of a live broadcast at Rockefeller Center on December 3rd. You can see that right here in WCNC Charlotte. That tree, by the way, will be on display until mid-January, and then it will be milled into lumber for Habitat for Humanity. We have introduced you to new words and internet trends from Delulu to 6-7. Now, listen to vibe coding, Collins Dictionary's 2025 Word of the Year. It's a form of software development that turns natural language into computer code using artificial intelligence. Another word in the dictionary is clanker, which originated from a Star Wars video game, and now it's basically used to insult technology. And finally, folks, take a look at the very cute cup that has been trending across all of social media. The Barista Cup has taken the internet by storm with a combined 50 million views on TikTok and Instagram. Starbucks, they're actually apologizing for the limited supply after fans expressed their disappointment about not being able to get one. However, the coffee chain says that more exciting merchandise is coming this holiday season. I can tell you, I showed this video to my kids yesterday and they were like jumping up and down.
They wanted it?
Of course they did.
I wanted it too, Lisa.
Oh, it's gone. Sorry, folks. If
listen.
you didn't get it.
It is cute,
Yes.
but I've been on TikTok. I've seen all these videos. I've seen people getting them. Some people in Charlotte have been very bad. A lot of people trying to get this cup and misbehaving at the location. So
so she's saying people were fighting to try to get it.
Yeah.
Don't do bad things.
It's out there.
a cup, folks. It's cute, but it's a cup.
Yes, behave yourselves.
All right, we got to take a break, but make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we're going to head into our live Impact News studio. A number of interviews happening, including talk about Special Olympics coming up. Make sure you stay with us here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. We're off to a pleasant start to our Friday morning. Generally, we're seeing a mix of sun and clouds. A lot of clouds out there in Dallas, looking gorgeous, though, in Monroe. And right here in Charlotte, we're seeing sort of just a mix of sun and clouds. 71 degrees for our high today, 71 out towards Lincolnton and Gastonia, about 60 degrees there in Boone. If you're heading out to the Charlotte FC game tonight, the game starts at 7 o'clock, and bring those layers because really once that sun goes down, then it'll feel a little bit cool, but temperatures pretty mild, mainly into the 60s. Enjoy the next 3 days as temperatures rise into the 70s because by Tuesday, we're expecting a frigid start to the morning, our first real freeze of the season with temperatures slipping down into the upper 20s, and even our daytime highs Monday and Tuesday only hit those upper 40s. Destiny.
This morning, we have been following power lines down in South Charlotte on I-77 northbound and southbound. It is completely clear and traffic is moving again. So that is the name of the story. But just make sure that you plan for residual backups this morning, including out on I-485. It is definitely a busy morning out there. Drive safely.